want there to be a silver lining. Like, I remember when Trump was elected, I hate him. Hate him, hate him, hate him. At the same time, I live in this country too. And like, my goal is not to see him fail. My goal is to see him like defy the odds and like actually take care of this country. But so many are suffering right now. And what's super fun is the North Carolina voters that voted for Trump and are standing on top of their crumbled bridges with their Trump flags. And his first week in office, he goes and he visits and he goes, FEMA needs to take care of this. We're going to take care of you guys. And then is defunding FEMA. Hey everybody, what's up? My name is Ansley. I work at Boredwalk, and this is Tess. She also works at Boredwalk. If you listen to our podcast in the previous weeks, you know that we're usually joined by a third. He is no longer with us.
We lost him to New York temporarily.
Oh, I was going to let him linger a little bit longer. One of our topics we wanted to address this week is kind of this concept of the leopards ate my face. And what that means is we wanted to really dive into Trump supporters and their regrets for sending their votes to Donald Trump. We have a few examples to talk to you guys about. And also, I just want to issue an open-ended question to Trump supporters. Is this working for you? And are you happy?
Oh, don't cry. Are you?
All of the Trump supporters that watch us.
I hope they find this. The first one I saw that was like incredibly concerning. Genzi Machado, he was driving to work in Virginia and he saw that there were police cars tailing behind him. They put their lights on. So he, of course, pulls over. He gets investigated and they're like, step out of the car with their big guns. They put handcuffs on him. And it takes a few minutes after being detained for them to look at his ID because they totally thought it was fake. And once they ran it, realized it was real and were instructed to take the handcuffs off. And Genzi goes on to say, I voted for Trump. You know, I thought he was going to get the illegal criminals out of the country. As if illegal criminals have a sign on their forehead that says, by the way, I'm illegal and a criminal. It's a witch hunt.
It's allowing for racial profiling. It's so messed up.
It's so up. And it's like, it's one of those things that I don't understand how you can be a part of a certain community of people, one that you have obviously seen be negatively be impacted by words and actions and so many legislations, and still be like, yeah, but I'll be excluded from that.
Yeah.
And like in what, and like also the disgusting side that it took him being arrested to be like, oh my God, This is what they're doing. We've had kids in cages. Like,
right. We already know. This is a great segue to one that I pulled of people not thinking that it was going to affect them. This is from Jordan Ramsey. To all the Republicans trying to make same-sex marriage illegal, I am a gay married man and a Republican. I am pro-life, I am pro-Second Amendment, and I voted for Trump. Just because we are in charge right now doesn't make it okay to go back to the old Republican ways. That is going to ruin the momentum that Trump and us Republicans have, only to boost the liberal momentum. It's not the same Republican Party it used to be. Get over it. I love being Republican. It would never be a Democrat, but reverting to the old ways will only ruin the party. That's literally what the party is. I honestly can't believe I am seeing the news of several states trying to get the Supreme Court to overturn same-sex marriage. I am a Republican through and through and hope I always will be, but doing this will only push me and other people like me out. That's again, he's like, well, I'm pro-life, so I really just wanted to get rid of abortion. And it's like this one, they're like, oh, but that part won't affect me. Like, it's like, oh, I want to ban abortion, and all of these other things are true, but I'm going to ignore those.
Do you think part of the pro-life argument is that marriage needs to be between a man and a woman to ensure the creation of life? Or like, are we just
if we're gonna
gone?
Yeah, like think about what the crazy religious people want and then being like, oh, we don't want to go backwards and like get rid of gay marriage. You want to go backwards and get rid of abortion. What do you mean?
I think that's one of those really stupid things. Like I saw in Utah, I believe they have outlawed pride flags in government buildings and other official places.
Yes.
And it's like people are like, this is not that big of a deal. And I'm like, it is one step forward to undoing what we finally got done in 2015, what we finally allowed in 2015. And for the Republicans that say it should go back to the individual states, no, it shouldn't. It really, really shouldn't. We are not a country that is founded off of conforming to one religious aspect or one religious idea. And to sit here and say that we all need to subscribe to this Christian ideal of a fake God in the sky telling us you can only do peen and vag, like, who cares?
It literally doesn't affect your life, so please calm the down.
Yeah, and half of the thing is they're like, well, we didn't care until you made it our problem. Nobody made it your problem.
No.
You guys made it a rallying cry for your political party, and you're upset when the people that are affected by it are speaking up? Shut up.
You genuinely could have just not cared.
You could have minded your own business. You want to be a Republican? Great. Find ways to be Republican without stripping people's rights. Oh, I don't think you know how to do that.
Right. It's just like what it's all transformed into is just angry and so just like,
close-minded.
What do you mean?
I think there is a coup happening within the government right now. Like there's people that are committing treasonous acts that you can't even report because they are the head of their departments.
Mm-hmm.
And how do you go above them? To who? The president? Oh, okay. Yeah, that's going really well for everybody. The thing is with this is like I want there to be a silver lining. Like I remember when Trump was elected, I hate him. Hate him. At the same time, I live in this country too. And like my goal is not to see him fail. My goal is to see him like defy the odds and like actually take care of this country. But so many are suffering right now. So and speaking of suffering, let's talk about North Carolina. I think we had, of course, another one of our 500-year hurricanes that is unfounded, but global warming's not real.
Crazy how all of these things keep happening.
Year after year. You know, we have technically lived 1,500 years since 2021, you think, with all these 500
Given
storms.
all of these things that apparently never happened. Yeah, everything's just chaotic. There's no new normal when it comes to weather. And, that's fun.
It's super fun. And what's super fun is the North Carolina voters that voted for Trump and are standing on top of their crumbled bridges with their Trump flags. And his first week in office, he goes and he visits and he goes, FEMA needs to take care of this. We're going to take care of you guys. And then is defunding FEMA. And so now you have all these North Carolinians that are like, I'm starting to question the administration. I don't want to be like, I told you so, because I want the people in this country to be taken care of.
You're like, I don't want your state to get screwed. I don't
didn't
want you to be suffering.
Right. And this is maybe a stupid opinion, but for a while I've literally said he's too geriatric, and I think he's genuinely too stupid to be doing all these things. But the thing is that now people are using Trump as their shield and armor so that they can be hateful bigots.
Yes.
And maybe not everyone that voted for Trump is a hateful bigot, but they're certainly okay overlooking hateful bigot things.
It's a pretty interesting
the line is
Venn diagram is very close to a circle.
It's very spherical. James Diaz, a veteran, recently fired from his job at the IRS, the Internal Revenue Service, which you think would be one of the most powerful and important organizations if we're trying to really knock down on American spending. We're really trying to reel it in. You'd think that would be someone we'd want to keep employed. No, a veteran who voted for him 3 times was let go of his IRS job. And he says, I don't think they're doing a very good job at finding out exactly what needs to be cut. I think they're just taking a chainsaw to it instead of doing some critical thinking and doing some investigations to see what's good and bad. And as our CEO pointed out, we were talking about this earlier, and if you want to put that into personal examples, it is like sitting there and saying, God, my funds are tight. My biggest bills are electricity and water. So why don't I just cut those off? Instead of taking a second to look at your spending and go, oh, maybe it's Hulu. Maybe it's HBO Max. Maybe it's all the DoorDash orders I'm getting. Like, we need to sit there, and especially the people leading the country need to take responsibility and be tedious with it, because you're cutting off American citizens. And we keep saying America first, but by making all Americans last.
All they care about is making all of the billionaires and the people who are, and themselves, by more rich. Like, that's really what it comes down to.
Like
it's just about wealth. He wants to become like the first trillionaire, and it's disgusting. All right, we'll read the other one that I pulled. This is from Steve Hofstetter. I thought this whole wasteful spending thing was a red herring to distract from our tanking economy, but then I discovered that the U.S. government is on pace to drop $1 billion on golf over the next 4 years. I only hope Elon Musk can track down and fire whoever is squandering this money.
Did you see the video of Trump going through the spending? I think this was a few weeks ago, and he goes, $8 million to transgender mice.
$8 million for making mice transgender.
And it's transgenic mice that are used to study like Alzheimer's and dementia.
It's the same thing that he had where he kept talking about Hannibal Lecter during his run. He kept bringing up the late great Hannibal Lecter, and it was like people were like, why is he talking about this? And it was because they talked about people seeking asylum, and he thought they were talking about insane asylums. And he was like, Hannibal Lecter, insane asylum. It's like, that's not what we're talking about.
Oh my
That's not what's
God.
going on.
I don't understand.
That's
I don't
not what's
understand.
happening. His
And
brain is mush.
it's so stupid. And what's so confusing to me is like, I know what I would consider decently educated people who are not stupid by any means, but still voted for him. And I can't.
Yeah.
Was it just because you didn't want a black woman to be the first president? Like, because that's kind of what I'm feeling like it is.
I'm convinced, like, man, Hillary losing was truly awful. And then Harris losing, and I remember that election, I was like, wow, we like really hate women. And I was really nervous about that when Harris started her campaign.
she was
But
gonna
then
do
I
it.
really was like, things felt good, and I was like, maybe she's actually gonna do it. And then after that, I'm like, wow,
We
I
hate
may
women.
never actually, like, I really was like, there's gotta be a female president in my lifetime, and now I'm like, maybe not.
I'm optimistic. I truly, truly think that there will be. Like,
There has to be at some point. God, we're not that bad. Like,
No,
I'm
I
truly
think
like,
that
why do we hate women
Mexico
so much?
has a woman president, and she's doing a spectacular job.
It's because
On my
they're
limited knowledge.
scared of us. They are so, like, the fact that people hate women so much really makes me feel powerful more than
Me
anything
too.
else, because I'm like, wow, I must be so scary to
It's
you.
freeing. It is so freeing to realize that if we're good, it doesn't matter they hate us. If we're demure, it doesn't matter they hate us. If we stand up for ourselves, they're going to hate us more. So actually, what does it matter anymore?
Yeah, it doesn't matter at all. And also, we are so powerful that you are scared of us having power.
Yeah, I can't imagine being an entire species of human that has only made it this far because you are so, like, your collective need was to convince an entire group of people that they were less than you for so
Yeah.
long. And you can't do, like, how many times have I seen videos of like in movies, they have this old couple and the woman convinces the man by making him think it's his idea. Oh my God. They are so afraid.
We need to live in a matriarchy.
We do. I remember thinking that all the time. Like when I was really young, I was like, if we had a world with just women and we all rode Panthers and we only had to see men once a year, that would be fantastic. And
I want
still
the
stand
Wonder
by
Woman
that.
island or
Me
wherever
too,
she
dude.
lives.
Me too, dude. Like
Yeah.
if we had all female presidents, we would probably never have wars. We would just have countries ignoring each other and minding our fucking businesses.
Can we just
And maybe like judging each other's flags and being like, "Oh, you haven't upgraded yet?" While we're already in the hateful mindset,
Yeah, what's
there's a
someone have to
comment I
say?
want to review today that kind of touches a lot on what we've talked about, and it's from JBays01, and he says, "All lives that are legal and useful to society matter us," with a fire emoji. Matter us. But your grammar
legal
doesn't.
and useful? I mean, first of all, define useful, and also, like, you don't sound useful.
No, you
So,
can't even use correct grammar. You
I
thin
don't.
numbnut.
Why do you have to be useful? Like, this is like a big thing that I
Yeah.
feel like I've learned through like therapy and stuff like that, and I'm not great at internalizing this, but it's like, why does everyone have to be useful? Like, why does every person, why is that all, like, why can't we all just have value? Because we fucking exist on this planet, and therefore we are entitled to like have a good time.
Yeah.
As good of a
Yeah.
time as you can have
Like
in
before
this
we turned
goddamn
into
world.
this hellscape, societies were built on community and taking care of each other and quite literally just vibing and
Yeah.
making sure you had firewood and like we killed that animal for dinner and it's going to feed us for 3 months.
Yeah.
We've gone so far off base. Like off-gridding sounds beautiful. Communes sound beautiful. All women cults sound miraculous.
Yes.
Right now. And this reminds me, I was watching Dean. Do you know who Dean is? He debates a lot of Republicans, a lot of Trump supporters.
Yeah.
He was debating a Trump supporter and they were like, well, people with more money are just inherently like more valuable. Like they contribute more to society. And his argument, Dean's, was that Barron Trump has a higher net worth than anyone and he hasn't worked a day in his life for it. So how do you genuinely think that that's true? Or our educators, a lot of them are under the poverty line. And he goes, well, what's the point of educators? What's so special about them? And this is what I mean. Like you actually cannot argue with these people because it's like if you come to them with reason, if you come to them with fact, if you come to them with real life experiences of how not only you but your family are being affected by these things, you're going to be met with, well, that's not what he's doing. Then what is he doing? Because whether he's doing it or not, it's happening. Project 25, it's happening.
I just really hate people disrespecting educators.
Me
It makes
too.
me really
Me too.
really mad. I have like a lot of family members who are teachers, and so I just know how hard they work. So much harder than most people that I know, and they get treated terribly.
And I can tell you, like, I've been an educator in the past. I've been a substitute teacher. I've been a camp counselor. And, like, the way that you can pour into these children in, like, a truthful way that brings them strength and guidance and, like, the ability to see outside their own perspective. Like, tell me why I'm teaching kids that it's okay to be gay. Whatever. I really can't stand that way of thinking either. And it's like, you must not have had any educators if you're able to form that opinion. You were homeschooled. So just say you hate your parents, dipshit. Anyway. Okay, moving on. This is a review left by Miss Beth Johnson on our shirt, The Day You Deserve. As with all the products I have purchased from you, this is wonderful. Besides the great fitting and feeling shirt, the artwork is spot on. What makes me smile the most is how totally triggered some of the people around me get when they read it. That says a lot about the day you deserve.
I love that, like, of all the shirts to trigger people, like, Have the Day You Deserve is so...
It's because they know they're horrible people. And they're like, God, how dare you call that out? You asshole.
Yeah.
I'm the only asshole here.
Like, what do you mean?
I don't know. I personally have really been enjoying the shirts. I like anything that's talking about burning the fascists or killing all the billionaires or like anything like that because it truly is how I'm feeling in today's oligarchy. Democracy? We don't know her anymore.
No.
We don't know her.
Left her, and we were mean to her. Honestly,
she broke up with us, and we want
treated
her back.
Like shit.
Please come back.
Please take us back.
Please, dear God. I'm hoping countries are still opening sanctuary to American citizens who want to escape this life. But I'm feeling like since America is burning every single bridge with any ally it has ever had, literally in the history of ever, we may just be.
Yeah, it's a concerning time. And I think that people, I'm not going to remember this exactly, but the French president had a speech that I saw a little bit about. And he basically in it acknowledged like the American people, most of them don't want this. But also, as Europeans, we need to start considering that we cannot rely on America.
Never.
And we need to like consider what our plan is given the situation.
I think that I've been seeing a lot of response from Americans, seeing Canada's response, and everyone's like, hold fast. And I agree. Like, I don't want this country to continue to bully, because why? Why do we have this power? Why does everyone rely upon it? And more importantly, we have not earned it. I'm just really excited for the day that I have nephews and nieces and they're asking me about these things. And I can confidently say that I was on the right side of it. You know what I mean? And like, we were never quiet about it and we were never, lacking action. Like, we are doing what we can, being content creators and people who don't have much of a voice outside of our votes. But like, this is the one thing that we can do. And like, I'm really glad we're not going quietly into that night.
Yes.
We're going to move on to answering some of our Delve Deck questions. This is probably the best way we can end the podcast. I know a lot of the times we are kind of negative, but I also think it's like the state of the country is really hard to stomach right now. So I take this as my therapy.
I'm going to do a light vent since we're riled up today. Yeah. Who is your least favorite celebrity? Donald Trump.
Donald Trump.
Easy.
Elon Musk.
Elon Musk.
Oh, there's a new one. I think his name is James Comer. He's in Congress.
I think specifically like Elon and Trump are good examples because it's like they are celebrities
running our country. They
are not politicians. Like, and I would say a lot of politicians do end up with celebrity status, but those two are straight up entertainers. Okay, what's your favorite weird smell? I kind of like the smell of paint.
Oh, that is weird.
Yeah, like if I walk into a building and it's like wet paint, I'm like, nice. Hell yeah.
I catch tests in 20 minutes, like paint buckets, but we're not going to live that much longer anyway. So
yeah,
if you want to lose your brain cells sniffing paint.
I don't sniff paint, but like if I happen to catch a whiff, I'm not going to say no.
I think mine is... Okay, I want to preface this by saying I don't like the smell of cigarettes, but I grew up in Reno, Nevada, and we have a lot of casinos, and almost all of those are smoking casinos. So for me, when I would go to like a friend's birthday party at a hotel or something, the stale smell of cigarettes, that is really comforting.
I actually also love the smell of cigarettes. My grandpa smoked, and I think that there is something like about the lingering smell.
Yeah. Ooh, this is great since you're a cynic who hates love. From the Joy deck, what's the most romantic thing someone has done for you?
Ooh, someone has done for me. I thought it was gonna be something I'd done. I tend to be like, I don't know, kind of. I love doing grand romantic gestures rather than having them done for me. Like I have told Trevor, like, do not ever propose to me, but if we decide we're gonna get married, I will propose to him.
Oh. Oh.
Yeah.
My boyfriend, my first birthday that we spent together, I was like, I don't really know what I want to do for my birthday. And he was like, well, do you want me to plan it? And I was like, sure. Like, okay. Like man planning things, like, sure, have at it, you know? And he went above and beyond. That morning started, and my tradition was my family would always wake me up by singing happy birthday with balloons. And so now I live in LA. I don't see my family very often, anyway. And he woke me up that morning at like 6 a.m. because that was the only time he could get all of my family on a FaceTime call. And he woke me up with balloons and my entire family singing happy birthday. And so I started the day crying. And then he was like, okay, get dressed. Like, we're going to a surprise brunch spot. And he took me to a beautiful brunch spot that like looked out over the ocean. And I am an ocean like looker. I don't want to be in it, but I love looking at it. And then after that, he was like, day's not done yet. And I was like, what could possibly be better? And he took us to Marina del Rey, to the docks, where he loaded us onto a sailboat that he had booked. And my best friend showed up because he planned with her and she showed up. And so we go on the sailboat for a few hours. And of course, the captain was also a photographer. So he's taking great photos of us. And we get back and I'm like, God, it's the best day ever. He's like, get dressed, feel really pretty. We're going to dinner. And he took me to this beautiful dinner in Beverly Hills at like this top rooftop area. Best dinner of my life, paid for me and my best friend, which I was just like, oh, God bless you. And then he's like, okay, like, let's go back to mine. And I'm thinking that's it. Like, you're tapped out on how this day could be any more perfect. And when we get to his house, he blindfolds me, leads me to his backyard where his parents, his sister, her boyfriend, and my best friend were all there. And the backyard was decked out with all of these lights, balloons, and like playlists were playing of like songs that I felt were very significant to our relationship. And there was presents and a cake. And then we ended the day smoking a joint on the balcony. And it was just like so thoughtful, but also so romantic. I was like, hey, I didn't want babies, but I'd have yours.
That's very sweet. So it's my 31st birthday. This is really important to the story.
We all lost years to COVID, so we're technically our age minus at least 3.
Exactly. So this was for that birthday. I had I really wanted to do something big and I wanted friends to come into LA and I was like, what should I do? And so Trevor ended up getting this like really beautiful, huge Airbnb, like up in kind of like the hills, like a little bit in the valley, but there was like a pool. It was like very cool and stuff. Through Verbo, gonna call them out, and they got the house together. Everything was planned. Like, we're planning this big like event. It's gonna be a pool party with people in town, but there's also places to stay for people who want to come from out of town. Day comes that we're supposed to check into the Verbo, and everyone has like literally just landed and is on the way there, and Trevor gets a notification from Verbo that it has canceled, and it has canceled right. Like, everyone's in Ubers on the way there. We're supposed to go there in an hour to check in. And this is like my big, like, post-COVID, like, birthday. I was just like, you know, obviously beside myself. This is a disaster. This man sat on the phone with Verbo customer support for probably 6 hours. I'm not even kidding. He talked to so many people and ended up getting us all rooms in a fancy ass hotel in West Hollywood. And we had a really like lovely weekend because he spent that time. And I feel like that is just like a very romantic and caring thing. And the fact that like it wasn't just like, oh, I want a refund for this. It was like,
no,
it was
I'm
like,
giving
you
her this
up
experience.
majorly.
Yeah.
And like you will make sure that we get somewhere nice. And you will like do this for us.
Love a man
And
with a backbone.
but I'm sure that there are plenty of romantic things. But birthday made me think of birthday.
Birthday romance. Well, that pretty much wraps up our podcast for today, and I'm really glad that we did end on joy because I feel miraculously lighter than I did when we started talking about this. So if you want an opportunity to shake off the mortal coil of our current administration and all the stress, you can go ahead and take the plunge, get your decks at boredwalk.com, and see how much fun you can have probably not thinking about the current state of the world.
Woo!
That being said, we love you guys so much. Thanks for hanging out with us. Okay, goodbye, you guys.